About how to get back on track fast after the holidays. Okay. So these are something you obviously have to prepare for: holidays, vacations, when you're sick. Those are the big three that are going to happen in your life. And so we can't have this all or nothing mindset. We need to be able to have a strategy for when we get off track and how we're going to get back on track fast. And as usual, the more strategic the plan is, the better your results are going to be, most likely. Because what a lot of people try and do is, they're kind of perfect up until the day. They may even want to be perfect on the holiday or during the vacation. And then they think they're just gonna get right back on track once that's over. And I've seen that to not be the case. So I wanted to first, I'll give you some strategies in a minute, but the first thing I want to talk about is just the concept of having strategies to get back on track. Because again, with an all or nothing mindset, no strategy is necessary. Just be perfect again, right? And that rarely works. So I want to break down that, really again, I start to have like specific strategies I'll use when I get back on track. But a lot of what makes those strategies work is the expectation that I'm not going to be perfect on my first day back. Okay. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday was Easter, right? And so even leading up to Easter, there's just more candy around. Then all of a sudden Easter comes and it's, more baked goods and sweets and candy and all that stuff. And so I eat that stuff all day. And it's really been a couple days of overeating, of eating not as clean as I normally am. And then, Monday, you're supposed to just be bam, right back on track. Good luck. Okay. Because now you've kind of put the sugar in your body, put the carbs in your body, put all this food in your body. And now you start craving those foods. And on top of that, if you overate yesterday, if you drank it all, you're kind of depleted today. Okay. So the idea that you're just going to, Monday is going to come and you're going right back on track, maybe, maybe, but if not, you want to have some other strategies at play. Okay. Because it's less important that you get back on track 100% on Monday than it is that you get back into your normal routine over the week. Okay. And so we can break it down into some other kind of sub strategies that get us back to that place. And it all relies on not being all or nothing. So I can tell you, for me, my Monday today is usually my start of my eating day. And that is usually like the way I set up my week. I have 5 days clean eating, 2 days pleasure eating. And so it's every Monday kicks off the clean eating. And so usually on a Monday, I'm ready to go, pretty much 100% right where I want to be. Today, not so much, because we hosted yesterday. So we got like home fries and, baked French toast and all this different stuff that was still around, in addition to the candy. And so I wake up this morning, I'm starting eating that stuff because it's right there, So again, am I depressed? Am I bloated? Am I bloated for the week? No, I realize that's just part of it. Again, it's my cravings and stuff just carrying on from the day before. So what I do is I reduce to the ridiculous, and I want to just get myself back on track. Now I've got a specific breakfast I'm going to eat. So I ate that. Now I ate more than that because I was eating that other stuff, probably twice as much as I normally eat for breakfast. So that kind of kicks me off in one direction. Now I usually have salad for lunch. I didn't feel like eating salad for lunch because now my taste buds are kind of tuned up to sweeter, more, pleasurable foods. And so salad seems boring to me. So I skip the salad and, again, I eat some hummus and carrots. It's healthier stuff, but not as healthy as my salad, right? But the big one, right, I'll show you for me anyways, is water. So water is a big part of it. And I start drinking more water, kind of flush out the system, signal to my subconscious mind that I'm getting back on track here. And so what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't have to be perfection on Monday, because what will happen for a lot of people today is because they weren't perfect today, their week's blown. All right. And so I want you to get that idea out of your mind that most often, and again, it depends on which holiday, especially like Christmas time, right? That's a way more intense one because that one goes on for almost like the whole month, And so when we want to get back on track, give yourself a little bit of time. People rarely do this, and allow yourself. I had a client of this came up with this term, re-entry. Now, again, for Easter, we don't necessarily need a lot of time. It's been a day or two. But the longer the holiday vacation, it's very unlikely you're going to just kick off that Monday being perfect. Give yourself a little bit of time to kind of get yourself back up to speed. And you do that by having kind of sub strategies where it doesn't have to be perfect eating, but you have water. Last night I went to bed early. There's meditating, I'm doing things to kind of quiet and calm myself down, relax myself. That's a big part of my strategy. And so I got these other things I can look at and work on that aren't just eating. Okay. So if you get anything out of this, please get that, because it could be going for a walk. It could be drinking some water. It could be going to bed early. It could be eating some fruit. anything that signals to your mind, I'm getting back on track, and give yourself a little bit of time to get back to where you were. Because again, it's easy to say, oh, Monday, and do it. And then the week's blown. And now next Monday comes and you've had a blown week. And now it's hard to get back on Monday. So that I guess is kind of what I'm saying. And I'm always saying that is to get out of that all or nothing mindset. It's killing you. If anything's messing up and sabotaging your weight loss more than anything else, I would say it's the all or nothing thinking. And so allow yourself to have a couple days and progressively get healthier and healthier throughout them, and do it strategically. Okay. When you start being strategic with your weight loss, it changes the whole process, because you probably have not been strategic. You've been very tactical. I'm going to use my willpower to make myself eat better, right? One tool, one tactic, and it's not enough, right? Your weight is a holistic, it's a holistic outcome. It's a result of a holistic process. A lot of people think of their weight loss like credits and debits, like a bank. No, it's like the stock market. There are a lot of different factors. Okay. And when you're kind of in holiday mode yesterday, to flip back into diet mode today, again, sometimes you can do it. Some people can do it. Great. But a lot of people can't. And now it's like that's the only thing they know. So again, give yourself more flexibility, and most importantly, be more strategic with yourself and see the big picture. All right. So I hope this helps you. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. So I'd love to answer them. So let's see. Hey, what's up? What's up, Raw? Hi. Hello, Olivia. You're so right. Well, thank you. Yeah. We don't need to get right back on track 100%. You know what I mean? It's better if we're 50% today, 75% tomorrow, 100% Wednesday, and that's the best case scenario as well. So it doesn't have to be that way. I was wondering, why do you have this platform and do all this? What do you earn out of this? I do this stuff for free, like on TikTok, all my social media, I just do for free. I've been doing professional. I've been I'm a hypnotist, is where I started. And I really got, primarily I was focused on weight loss. And so, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I got Program Yourself Thin's my program. I've certified coaches. I've done a lot of private coaching. But last year, my goal is to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. So yes, I have my program. But I just give this all away for free. And my story really kind of started, my dad died of a heart attack, when he was 54. I was 9 years old. And that in one sense kind of put me on this path. 10 years after, I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now. And, just kind of blessed with a lot of things I was exposed to. And so I really kind of, just give this stuff away just to help you out, if you want to join my program, that costs money too. But I give everything away for free as well, so that I can help you. So yeah, what I earn out of it is just to help people, really take control of their weight. Because to me, it's not really just about looking better. It's really about living longer. So I want you to be there. I want you to have the best life possible. And I want you to live as long as you can, for the people that you care about and that love you. What supplements do you advise for a vegan? I'm not much of a supplement guy, and I'm not a vegan. I'm vegan-ish, but the vegan thing, I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you how I look at things. I try to look at things in a kind of holistic way. And if what I hear, and it kind of makes an impact on me, is I've never heard of any society living as a vegans, a whole society. And so it's kind of a relatively new idea. And while I am veganish, I'm pescatarian. I do eat fish, but I'm primarily plant-based. But so in terms of like being completely vegan, I wouldn't know. That's not really my specialty. Victoria, hey, hope you and your family are all well and good to see you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we had a great Easter, actually. It was really fun. Demi says, you're so inspirational. Thank you so much. I really need to get under BMI 19 now. Okay. Yeah, well, that's a good place to start. So I'll suggest, the BMI is a great place to start, but you need to give it more meaning. A lot of times, if like a doctor tells us to weigh something, if we look at a BMI chart, it's lacking a little bit of meaning. We have to create our own meaning for this process. I always say you want to take your weight loss and wrap it in personal development. Okay. And what I mean by that is that really weight mastery is an inside out process. It's a process of transforming yourself into the person who you want to be. And if we just look at a number on a scale, if we just get a size clothes, just look at a BMI number, that you're usually not going to find enough motivation to make it happen. Okay. So I think you want to reframe this as a process where you're becoming the person you want to be. And one aspect of that person is that you have a BMI or a weight or a size that you want to be as well. Okay. But we want to imbue it with more meaning. We can't just assume that saying a certain number, BMI, weight, size is going to be enough. Okay. It's kind of an arbitrary thing. So we need to give it more meaning and make it more meaningful to you. All right. That'd be my suggestion to you. Well, it's beautiful. I think that's so rare that people would do that for free. Yeah. Well, I'm very fortunate. I mean, don't get me wrong. It, so I give that. I call it the Robin Hood model. So it's a big investment to work with me privately. It's $10,000. So just I don't want to seem like I'm a saint here. Although again, everything's relative. And then my program, is an investment as well. But again, it allows me to give everything away for free. And so I show up here, I do lives all the time, make videos. Obviously, see, I think I made over 600 videos already now in 6 months. So I'm always putting out. I make the podcast, 5 times a week, answer people's questions. I do everything I can to kind of help people out. And again, I think it's because it needs to happen. It's 75% of the population of America is overweight or obese, and it's deadly, like the food situation is like the cigarette situation in the 60s. It's this deadly thing that we just don't see it for what it is. Our mindset, because we're so conditioned through all the advertisements we've been exposed to minimize the effects of the food on us, minimize the effects of the weight. And so, I try to get out here to give people better tools, and because I take it seriously, it's really serious to me, um, thank you so much. Your content really helps a lot. I'm really glad. That really makes me happy. I need to be underweight. I don't like the healthy weight anymore. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what underweight is for you, but I will tell you, I'll give you this spiel that, because I get sometimes people with the underweight thing, where I find people with on the eating disorder side of it and people that are overweight, where they can meet somewhere in the middle, is that a lot of times the goal weight each of them are going after, they're thinking that weight is going to make them happy. And the weight doesn't necessarily make you happy. It's a means to an end, right? You could have all the money in the world. You could have the perfect weight. You're still living life. I mean, there's good ups and downs and all the rest of it. And sometimes people think being underweight, or at their goal weight even, is going to be like this paradise. You know what I mean? Like everything's gonna be perfect. And that's not obviously not true. So, I think there's always the reasons why. Again, why do you want to be underweight? That's where I would start with. Why do you want to be any weight? For me, again, I pick the weight I'm at. I think it's the weight that gives me the best chance at living the longest. Keep it that simple. And then on top of that, it's the weight that gives me, I have the most energy. I feel the best. I feel lighter. My joints aren't carrying around much weight. I just feel better. I feel lighter. I feel like my body's working efficiently. And that's important to me because, again, the longevity, I want to be here for my family as long as I possibly can be. I want to be alive as long as I possibly can be. And then I want to be able to provide for them. That's my second biggest, focus. And so in order to be able to do that, I need to have energy, clarity, focus and motivation and all that stuff. So, but you understand, oh, thanks for the rose. It's not just about a number on a scale. It's not just how I look. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just not going to be enough motivation, And so it's a personal development thing, for me. There's so much meaning to it that I've given it. So why do you want to weigh what you want to weigh? Really important. Love your videos from South Africa, trying to live a healthier lifestyle. Super, super. Yeah, South Africa. That's cool. I was like, yeah, it's crazy how people from around the world watching these. It's pretty neat. People say I need to recover from my ED, but I agree with you. Everyone is fat. I got to be bones. I see where we're going with that. Yep. Why though? I mean, the bones thing, I get that, but I always feel I don't work with eating disorders. So I want to make that clear. I've spent 20 years professionally working with people lose weight, and get to a healthy weight, healthy. Cause I don't see the point. I mean, just being, but I like I said, I haven't worked much with eating disorders. I work with people that are overweight that want to lose weight. And so getting on TikTok, obviously I have, maybe it's not obvious, but yeah, I get a lot of eating disorder stuff. But from what limited exposure I've had to people with eating disorders, what I see a lot of times is they're using the eating disorder to punish themselves and punish other people in their lives more than there's no, I haven't seen a lot of positive intention behind the eating disorder, And so I think that, again, that's where I think it's important to recognize what weight do you want to weigh and why, and if everyone's fat and you want to be bones, that gets in a whole nother territory that's out of my scope, but I do think where there is, where they both meet is, again, finding some real reasons. Let me reframe it this way. What's the best version of you? You know what I mean? That's kind of how I always approach this. And it's not the best version of you, not just because you look a certain way, but because you live a certain way, because you feel a certain way, because you are living a lifestyle that's congruent with your deepest values, and what's the best kick-ass version of you possible, And that's where I would aim at. And, usually that's going to be, part of that kick-ass version of you is a weight where you feel best and feel best, not just look like what you think you should look. Because a lot of people do that. I would say one of the biggest mistakes people make in terms of picking a goal weight. That's where I start with people. I got to start with the basics. It's like John Wooden. He used to be he was the most successful college coach of all time, men's basketball coach. And what he would start, even these superstars from around the country, right, come to his program. The first day of practice, guess what he shows them? How to put their socks and shoes on, how to tie their shoes right, So a lot of times the most success comes from really focusing on the fundamentals. And one of the core fundamentals that I would suggest, if you want to lose weight, that I would suggest you reflect on is, what is your goal weight? Because what most people do is pick a weight that's way too low. And so why are you picking that weight? Oh, that's what I weighed when I was 20. That's what I weighed when I got married. Okay, well, you're 60 now. So you're at a different place. So why do you want to weigh that weight? Because what people don't do is they think of their weight like it's like in a vacuum. You've got to live and eat a certain way in order to achieve that weight. So I always suggest that you choose the weight that's going to be the best quality of life. And that includes how you're going to live and how you're going to eat. Because if you're picking a weight where in order to achieve that weight, you got to eat carrots and drink water, that's a shitty quality of life. You're not going to be happy, even if you're at whatever weight you choose, but people just, for some reason, they just don't think about this stuff. So they're picking extremely low weights that are going to be miserable in order to achieve. And because they're miserable, they don't stick with them. Why do you think you don't stick with any weight loss plan? It's because it sucks, usually. That's a whole other story. Because usually when people want to lose weight, they way overcorrect it because you got a diet mindset. You think like a dieter, but part of that is that you're way overcorrecting. Day one, 50, 60% calorie cut, and it's just too extreme and you can't stick with it. It sucks. It's miserable. You feel deprived and it's just a matter of time. It's like an endurance test, until you quit it. And so again, but that's all starts. It all starts with that goal weight. And usually people are picking a goal weight that's too low. And when I say too low, it's too low because they don't want to live that way. So if you pick a weight that's lower than what you want to live at, then what are you doing? Well, go with perfectionist. I'm going to do that's the weight I should be at. No, if you're not even anywhere close to that and you don't want to live that way, then why? You know what I mean? So you got to reflect on that because you're probably just taking for granted. You've been staying the same way for 40 years. It doesn't mean anything to you anymore. Yeah, I get you just saying some people use some of your videos on dark ED places online to starve. No, I know that. I've heard that, you know what I mean? But, listen, and I get that. I'm not doing this to hurt anyone. You know what I mean? And so I say my stuff's not going to work for people with ED because my stuff all comes from a place of being healthy, and it's like, if you're doing this to not be healthy, it's completely incongruent, and, yeah, no, it's frustrating. I'll tell you the first time, gobsmacked shocked I was the first time I did a video. It was like, how thin do you want to be? And I know the word thin. I've thought about this, but it was the word thin. And I was like, and I got all that, from that community. But I mean, again, there 10,000 people die a year from eating disorders. Almost 4 million people die a year of being overweight and obese, so I can't not make any weight loss videos because people are struggling to put weight on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So anyways, people use all sorts of stuff. I know they'll look at my videos. Oh, you trigger my ED. You shouldn't be on TikTok. Do you know what I mean? Like you watching your underweight people you're watching all day is way worse than me asking how thin you want to be. Anyways, my goal weight is 39 kilograms, then 35 kilograms, then 28.9 kilograms. Yeah, I'm gonna let that go. Again, that's not really my specialty, but again, what's the best version of you? It's probably not the skinniest one. It's probably to punish you or someone you know. Do you know how not to be booted? I struggle with this. Do you know how not to be booted? I don't know what that means. Do you only specialize in overweight people? Yes. Yeah, no, isn't your fault. It's our fault and our sick minds. Don't worry. Yeah. Again, I mean, I will say this. That's why it's the personal development thing, and it's obviously, this with the eating disorder stuff, but that, I mean, everyone knows that the eating thing, I'm out of my depth. I don't talk about that. Oh, bloated. Oh, let me see. Do you know how not to be bloated? I struggle with this. I mean, I'm just going to give you a general suggestion. I think not to be bloated is probably what you're eating, and I think that the standard American diet is a very bloating diet, make you feel very bloated. So as you start eating more fruits, vegetables, greens, and beans, well, you'll feel a little bloated from the beans initially probably, but eventually you'll feel a lot better and a lot lighter. But if you're eating a lot of dairy, a lot of fat, a lot of processed foods, you're probably going to look and feel bloated, that's what I think. So, yeah. But, it's all about again, it's where I say everyone can probably meet in the same thing is like what weight gives you the best quality of life. And I always say like this, like weight, your weight and money are similar in the sense that they're means to an end, right? Because if like you have a lot of money, but you make your money by robbing senior citizens, then that's not a great quality of life, right? Even though you got a lot of money, there's a shitty quality of life. And so if you're at a weight, but you're miserable and unhappy and everyone's upset with you, you know what I mean? That's probably not a great quality of life either, you know? So I think it's always more important to orient towards the quality of life, the overall quality of life. And part of that is, what's the sustainability of something, you know? What are you going to be able to do, to maintain it and to live the life you want, you know? And I think that's a better place to go to, you know? Ignorance. Why do we treat obesity as a medical problem instead of a psychological one? It seems the wrong approach. Well, I say this all the time. I think the medical system, and I love the medical system, a lot of it, but let's be honest. I think it's built primarily on treating symptoms rather than finding cures. Typically, I think that's where the money is. You know, um, So I don't know. But I find that too. Even with the dieting's always that. And plus, like if you ask an average person how to lose weight, they're usually going to say like diet, medicine, the Ozempic stuff, or some, the injections now, or surgery. We've been conditioned. You've been conditioned. 50 years of diet advertising's got your mind, trapped to think like a dieter, And so even dieting is a treat the symptom, because most people think about dieting as like, I'm going to do it temporarily to lose the weight. They never think about a foundational shift in how they think, feel, and behave in order to live as a thin person. So that's always the thing I always suggest, is that you want to stop thinking about losing weight and start thinking about mastering your weight. Think about getting to your goal weight instead of spending the rest of your life there on near autopilot. That's the real goal. And I think that goal, just articulating that way, causes you to find better strategies and solutions than you've been looking at. Why are you kinda? I like hearing you talk. Why am I kinda? I don't know what kinda means. Kind of what? But I'm glad you like hearing me talk. That's what I do. I'm a hypnotist, and I try to tell the truth. They want a pill to work. Yeah, of course they want a pill to work, And it's just a nonstop stream. The obesity conspiracy, the three main players, right? The food companies, the diet companies, and the medical establishment. And none of them are giving you any answers, That's why I say I kind of fill in like a unique void in the weight loss world, because everyone's always telling you what to do. No one tells you how to get yourself to do it, and it's absolutely psychological, as you said. And I don't know, just no one really works on this. I don't know why. So yeah. I keep wanting to change my mom for her to be a strong woman. Am I projecting? Yeah, probably. I always tell people with this that because listen, I'll tell you, one of the hardest parts of losing weight in doing that whole path is the people around you. Because ironically, a lot of times people around you don't support you the way you think they should, or we want people around us to lose weight or do something more, but you can't change other people. It's hard enough to change yourself. If you're trying to lose weight, never mind trying to get other people to lose weight. Look how hard it is for you to get yourself to do it, And so I always suggest, I had someone on here last week. It was a mom talking about her daughter who put a bunch of weight on in college, so how do I got to talk to her? How do I talk to her? I say, I'm just one man, so take it or leave it. But it's like, when I see people that are struggling that I know personally, I never bring that stuff up. I just want to be there for them. If they want to talk about it, cool. But I'm never telling, oh, hey, you know what? Listen, anyone that's put weight on knows they put weight on. You know what I mean? A lot of people that want to be stronger, that feel weak, they know they want to be strong. They don't know how. Again, that's what gets back to what I do is everyone, you all know you want to eat better, you want to look better, you want to live healthier. We all know we want to do certain things. The challenge is, how do we get ourselves to do it? That's the hard part. And no one ever teaches us this. That's why, that's what got me about neurolinguistic programming. NLP is really one of my core strategies or modalities that I use. I use hypnosis, NLP, a lot of other stuff, but those are the primary ones. And that's what NLP was all about, is like, it's finding the people, again, the results you want, role modeling them subconsciously. How do they think about things? Not just how they behave on the surface. And it's how they think about things that usually is the most insightful. And so it's always my focus when I'm working with people. Like, again, you go to a dietitian, a personal trainer, nutritionist, doctor, they're telling you what to do. But again, that's not the main problem. You all know enough about what you should and shouldn't eat to lose weight. Problem is, you can't get yourself to do it consistently, and you're never learning that. You're never learning how to shift your mindset when it comes to getting the results you want with your weight, and that's why you're stuck. You think like a dieter, and it's your thoughts and your mindset that's keeping you stuck more than anything else, way more than your genetics, way more than your hormones, way more than your type 2 diabetes and your metabolic disorders, all that stuff. Your mindset's the number one thing affecting your weight. No question about it. And you have no idea how to change it, most likely, because no one ever talks about it, and that's literally what I do. That's why I try and get out here and do all this stuff for you all. Because you never even get a chance to realize that it's your mindset that's the main problem, and so people say, oh yeah, it is my mindset. But you say your mindset, you have no idea how to change it. You have no idea what your mindset even is, most likely, it's just overlooked. Would you rather every food have 0 calories or every food be free? I don't even know what that means. Like free? How did you become a hypnotist? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Listen, I was 19, right? And I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now. I was binge drinking. I was depressed. I was lost in life, I would say. I took a semester off from college, and it was like the universe just blessed me. And that's how I describe it, because within 2 months, I was exposed to hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, Tony Robbins, yoga, martial arts, and guitar, meditation, if I want to add that into the yoga, literally all in a couple months. And it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I felt like I was let out of jail. And I dropped 50 pounds, but I transformed myself from inside out. I can't explain anymore. Same person, completely different path in life. And, I was in school getting a finance and investment degree, and I started this stuff, and I was like, and then actually this was kind of crazy too. I went to a business school, right, for my last 2 years there. And, I told you I took that semester off, and the orientation for the new school that I was going to, the first night there, a hypnotist, right? And the hypnotist was there, and he was a cool hypnotist. He was like demonstrating more than he was doing like stage goofy stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And so I just got so into this stuff. I still got my degree and stuff, but then I went and I was like, as quick as I could, I went and got certified in hypnosis, NLP. I'm a yoga instructor and all this other stuff. And so, yeah, it was just such a passion for me, because again, for me, it was life and death. My dad died at 54 of a heart attack. It was 1984. So it's like people have the same knowledge they have now, but he knew his heart was bad. He knew how he was living was unhealthy, and he didn't know how to change it or couldn't change it, whatever. And so, like I said, for me, this really isn't just about like wearing a bathing suit to the beach. I mean, that's cool, but it's really about like, this is your life. You know what I mean? Like there's probably nothing impacting your life more than how you're eating, your lifestyle, and your weight to some degree. It's a huge health marker, your weight. And so to me, and your happiness is all wrapped up in this. So again, I'm extremely passionate about it. And I always feel like hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming are the most useful, practical strategies to actually change your weight. Like, listen, you're watching this, you've been trying to lose weight for probably decades. You know as little about how to lose weight now as you did before you started your first diet. You have no idea how to change your behaviors. Like you keep telling yourself you know what to do and you just need to get yourself to do it, which is a sneaky way to say that I have no fucking clue how to change my behaviors. I don't know how to get myself to do it. But you just keep saying, oh, I know what to do. Why? Because a diet, you got to stop eating carbs. You got to stop eating 16 to 20 hours a day. You got some tactic you should do. Who cares? Knowing what you should do and being able to do are completely different things. I always say this, like, you know how to write with your hand, right? So you know how to write, but can you write with the other hand? Like knowing something and being able to do it are two totally different things. And you have no idea how to get yourself to think, feel, and act like a thin person, so you're stuck. Hey, what's up, Vicky? Obesity is primarily a psychological issue. It becomes medical when it is chronic and causes diseases. Yep. All the weight stuff's psychological. Obviously everything's psychological, right? We're all brains. We're brains in a dark room inside our skull. Everything's psychological. There's obviously physical aspects too, but everything's certainly psychological too. Your approach seems so reasonable, but also so novel. It's really telling how common sense you are. Thank you. I really, that to me, that type of compliment is my most favorite. I really appreciate you saying that. Because, I'm not like I said, I went to business school and stuff, but I'm never like a science brain, but I do read kind of a lot of science stuff now. I'm obsessed with stuff where I read 50 books a year and all this, but listen, my dad was a mechanic, Like everyone that my family is Greek immigrants, like blue collar workers. And so like, I like to be able to describe things in common sense ways. If I can't, then forget it. Like it's not gonna make sense. So that really, I really appreciate you saying that. That means a lot to me. I'm an emotional eater. I was starting over today, but already crave sugar. Yeah, of course, right? So listen, that's not unusual though. Like I'm I'm not an emotional eater anymore. Okay. And I was craving sugar today, and I ate sugar today a couple times because yesterday I was eating a bunch of sugar, and the day before I was. Okay, get in a holiday mode, and you start putting this. I always say, listen, I always say this, and I'm reinforcing it now. I'm believing it and experiencing it. But every time I eat sugar, I'm like, this is sugar cravings on layaway. That's how I always think about it. And so it's the starting over today is the problem, not because you're starting over, but because you're starting over like with perfection. So I'm starting over today. My Monday, this is not as clean a Monday as normal for me at all, at all. But I don't care. It's cleaner than it was yesterday, and tomorrow will be cleaner than it was today. The world I live in is so much easier to master my weight because it's not all or nothing. You're all or nothing, and now you're like, I fucking blew it. I'm done. Oh, catch me next week. Then next week you can do the same thing. Have you noticed that, everyone? You keep repeating that same pattern over. Listen, you don't have as much awareness as you think you have. You need to kind of go meta on yourself, and you need to separate from yourself and look at yourself from a distance to really appreciate what you're consistently habitually doing, because you're not aware of it. And one of the things you're doing as far as the weight loss goes is you have to get all fired up, and then you start a plan. You stick with it for a couple hours, couple days, maybe a couple of weeks, and then you stop, and then you go right back to how you were. Nothing changes, along the way. You endurance test it for a little bit. You're never on a real path, though. I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm saying just to point it out, because you can't fix something you don't know is broken, but you think like a dieter. You got a dieter mindset. That's your core number one problem, and you got to fix it if you're ever going to get the results you want. And a place where I feel like I never lose the weight. Never tried hypnosis. Always been intrigued. Yeah, listen, here's hypnosis, right? Hypnosis is not you going to a trance. Hypnosis is the process of you influencing your subconscious mind. Okay. Because your subconscious mind's controlling your weight. When you go on a diet, you have a conscious and a subconscious mind. The conscious part of your mind is the logical, rational part of your brain that knows what you should do to lose weight, knows why you want to lose weight, and tries to get you to do it. It's where your willpower is. But what's it fighting? Have you ever thought about this? You want to lose weight. You're all, okay, today's the day I'm going to do it. And then you're kind of like going along, and all of a sudden you get some craving or some compulsion. Something compels you to do the wrong thing. How does that happen? You ever thought about that? Right? You don't even have an explanation for this, which is just proving the point. You literally have no concept. You have no concept of how your brain works in a practical sense. And you have no idea how your habits work or how your whole weight's created. You're like you're a blind person in a room trying to figure things out. You have no sense of what you're even doing. Really, right? So again, I say this not to be an asshole, but I say it to just kind of justify what you've been experiencing, because you keep blaming yourself like there's something wrong with you, when in reality, you have no plan. You have no strategy. You've got a tactic you try to follow. Okay, well, I'm going to try keto. I'm going to try get rid of carbs. Okay, that didn't work. I'm going to try just eat Mediterranean food. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, I'm going to try and eat low fat food. Oh, that didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, you keep cycling through the different tactics, but the core problem remains that you don't know how to change your behavior, And so anyway, so what's compelling you to do the wrong stuff? It's your subconscious programming, and your subconscious mind just runs on autopilot. And so what you do when you go on a diet is you try and use your willpower to fight against your subconscious programming, and you can do it for a little while, and then eventually you get bored, sick, distracted, whatever. And your subconscious program just keeps chugging along like it always did, and you just keep repeating this process. So yeah, learning how, again, in my program, Program Yourself Dim, you learn the technique where you program your subconscious mind. It's a 1-2 minute technique you use at night. You've got to be able to program your subconscious mind, though, because I can hypnotize you, but you live in a world of hypnosis. Every single TV commercial you see is hypnosis. So you have to learn to do this yourself. And it better be important enough to learn it. It's like, here's another thing, man. It's like you're most likely not even committed enough. You have to approach your weight like college. What? It's not important enough? That's the first problem. There's the first problem anyways. You don't even want to lose weight. You wish you'd lose weight. You wish you'd wake up tomorrow and just all of a sudden magically start eating better, but you don't want it. You don't really want it. Stop it. That's your first problem. You got to be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you really wish you'd lose weight. Well, want is how much effort are you putting into it? And what's your effort? What, you're going to start a plan on Monday? Well, this week's fucked, right? So maybe next Monday. And then what? You don't tell anyone. It's in your head. Okay, I'm just going to try not eat sweets. You're going to try and not eat sweets? That's your weight loss plan? I'm going to try not eat carbs. I mean, it's like you're bringing a stick to a bazooka fight. You're not even anywhere close. You're not within 100 miles of getting this, if that's your plan. What do you do? What do you do when you're depressed? What do you do when you start all your thinking that drives you right down the path to overeat the shit? You just have no idea, you know? So anyways, if you want to have an idea, listen, click my link, go get that hypnosis. I'll give you one for free. But more importantly, as soon as I give you this session, it takes a few minutes to send it to you. There's a training there, 3 steps to master your weight. Watch that training. Okay. I'll show you. There's 3 pillars of weight mastery: mindset, lifestyle, eating. Okay. It's those 3. And you are just focusing on eating. And even that's a half-assed plan. I don't want to sound like, I don't want to come like I was aggressive, but I get crazy with this because it's like I get no idea, you know? So yeah, you should learn hypnosis, you know, but again, self-hypnosis. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. Okay. So you have to learn how to influence your subconscious mind. You know, it's an art and a science, and I use it every single day. I use it for every area of my life because your subconscious mind's controlling your whole life. You're on autopilot most of the time. You don't honestly think you're just some conscious, logical being moving through life, do you? Then why do you keep making such fucking stupid decisions all the time? What do you have any? Why do you think? Oh, because I'm a fucking dummy because I'm stupid. No, you're not. You're a smart person, but you have all this subconscious programming bringing you in the wrong direction, and then you try and fight it with your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is your prefrontal cortex, is about 10% of your brain. You know what I mean? And you're trying to fight against all your subconscious mind. It's like, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And so until I genuinely don't know how you would make changes in your behavior and in your life if you don't understand how to use hypnosis. I truly mean that. I think it's the most powerful modality out of any of them. It's like, cognitive behavioral therapy is like the most scientifically proved. It's like, yeah, NLP's been doing that shit for 50 years. And the hypnosis aspect of it makes it 100 times more powerful to install that stuff you learn into your subconscious mind. So I genuinely feel like understanding hypnosis is understanding how your mind works. Because it's like hypnosis, it's the concept. You have a conscious and a subconscious mind. If you don't even understand that dynamic, how are you influencing your behavior? Oh, I'm just going to willpower it. How's that working out for you? How? Tell me. Hey, Claudine from Malta. All right, cool. What is the success rate for hypnosis and weight loss? I don't know. Success. I don't know. How committed is someone? You know what I mean? Like, it just depends. If you're committed, it's 100%, you know, no doubt about it, because it's a solution-oriented path. See, that's the thing. Learning how to be thin is like learning the piano. What's the success rate for someone learning the piano if they're committed to it? Well, it's 100%. What's the success rate if you want to master your weight and you have a plan that allows you to do that? It's 100%, you know? So it's not like just did it work? Did it not work? Well, I mean, are you still using it? Are you still moving on that path? You know, what's your recommendation on stop binge eating? My number one recommendation is to eat more food. I think you got to eat more food. Usually when people, now again, that's just my first initial response because I've been doing this for a long time. And when people tell me they're binge eating, it's almost always because they're not eating enough. Right. My classic is the person coming to me and say, hey, everything's going great until the afternoon night comes. Then I'm eating everything. I'm binge eating. So, okay, well, what are you eating for breakfast and lunch? Nothing. Okay, well, what do you want to do for afternoon dinner? Nothing. Well, it's fucking stupid. You got to eat. I'm joking with you kind of, but listen, you got to understand you're a dieting mindset person. You've been hypnotized. Talk about hypnosis. I always joke I was going to hypnotize people to lose weight. I got to snap you the fuck out of it. You're in a dieting trance where you think the more you starve yourself is the fastest way to lose weight. When in reality, the more you starve yourself is the faster way to just start binging and overeating, because you can't control yourself. You know, when every single cell of your being is screaming out for nutrition, when your entire brain and every sense organ in your body is hyper fixated and focused on food, that's when you're going to manage your eating the best. You know what I mean? Now, I know it sounds silly when I say it like that, but that's what you've been trying to do. You know? And again, you're not even focused on mastering your weight. You just don't, I just want to lose the weight. I don't give a shit what I got to do. I'll just do anything. I just want to lose the weight. Water fast, stop eating, whatever. I just want to lose the weight. Great. How many times have you lost the weight and then put it back on? You're getting exactly what you want, right? How long are you going to keep the weight off for? Forever. Okay. Are you acting that way? Is that your focus? Like to keep it off forever? I know it's not, you know, because it's a completely different approach when you focus on keeping it off forever. So binge eating, yeah, I don't know. That's the first one, is to eat more food, nourish yourself. You know, in my program, there's a hunger scale: 0 starving, 10 stuffed. And you want to keep yourself 3, 4 pretty much all day long. I'm not hungry all day. I don't have some amazing willpower. That's why I'm thin and eat well. It's because I'm strategically mastered my eating so that I'm satisfied in a way that the calorie consumption is exactly where I want to be with my weight. So I'm not hungry all day. Okay. But anyways, that's probably the biggest reason you're binge eating. The second big one is the emotional eating. You know, again, you've been conditioned to use food as your main emotional management strategy. Do you know how to feel the emotions you want without food? Do you know how to deal with shitty emotions without turning to food? Probably not. Again, in my program, that's one of the main things we focus on because that's what you need to do. That's what I had to do. Why was I 50 pounds heavier? Why was I binge drinking? Let me think back. Well, my father died when I was 9 and I never dealt with any of that. My mom was amazing, but she didn't know any of that shit. She goes, I just didn't want you to be unhappy. So we could never talk about being unhappy. Okay, God bless her. I love mom. But she didn't have those skills. And so here I am 10 years later. I'm absolutely a wreck inside. Never dealt with any of that stuff. Anger, sadness, depression, frustration, all that shit. And I didn't know how to deal with it. And so what I do, I said, get the fuck away. Everything going in my mouth, just distracting myself, So that's the other piece of the binge eating, maybe you got some traumas you haven't dealt with, because that was a big difference for me. I started doing yoga and meditation and I could sit with these fucking horrible feelings. Wasn't easy, but it felt right. And now I can do that too. The worst thoughts I can have, the worst feelings I can imagine, the shit that really makes you keep you up at night. I'll sit present with that. I can stay calm and relaxed. So that's a huge part too. So again, I don't know your binge eating story, but those would be the two first things I would recommend. Drinking green tea daily helped curb my cravings for sugar, but it did take a while. Yeah, things take a little while sometimes too, right? That's the other thing, it's like you have no patience because every weight loss ad is programming you to want to lose weight fast. You know what I mean? And it messes everything else up. Stuffing my face as I listen to this help. Stuff your face. You know what I mean? It doesn't even matter. Stop judging yourself. You know what I mean? Stuff yourself silly. And then when you're done, take a second and notice how it feels. You know what I mean? Stop beating yourself up about it and just stop when you're done eating. At some point, you'll stop stuffing your face. Then stop for 5 seconds and say, oh, okay, let me turn my attention inwards. How do I feel physically, mentally, emotionally? How do I feel? And you probably feel like shit. Remember that next time you think you want to stuff your face full of whatever, I don't really like it. It makes me feel shitty. Love this guy. Thanks, Baby Moose. How much does your program cost? My program is $2,000. Bringing a stick to a bazooka fight. Brilliant and so true. Right, Vicky? Vicky knows. Vicky's in the program. Good point. Thanks. You're the best. I love this. I'm glad. I know, right? It's like I get on here because it's like, I always I know you that listen to me all the time. You're gonna be mad that I say this again because I gotta work on this and I just haven't. But I got the obesity conspiracy, right? It's the food companies, the diets, and the medical establishment. So the food companies we know, right? I mean, it's just nonstop ads. The food companies, the cigarette companies, by the way, that's really how you should think about them. Literally the cigarette companies in the 70s, all the studies were coming out that cigarettes cause lung cancer. So they started to divest from cigarettes and they went into food. RJ Reynolds bought Kraft or bought into it, a huge stake in it. So literally the cigarette companies went into the food industry and they made the most addictive products possible, advertising the most shittiest way possible. So there's the food companies. The diets are the same thing as the food companies. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products, the same company owns by Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. Slim Fast, same company that owns Ben and Jerry's ice cream. So these diets don't want you to lose weight. You know what I mean? They want you to eat their bullshit. They want you to cut your calories crazy because that causes what we call the what the hell effect or counter-regulatory effect. That's real specific to dieters. When you really cut your calories, you end up binging ultimately. So I think that's why you keep getting that same diet thing, just in different outfits. But it's the exact same process in the back of it. And there's a medical establishment, which again, they're not showing you how to cure it. They're just treating the symptoms. There's a lot of money to be made off you being overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy. A lot. So I think you have to find yourself what path you're going to follow because it ain't coming to you. You know what I mean? That's why I get out here and do this because just to point out, I mean, what diet are you going to follow? What diet have you followed? You know what I mean? Like that, what makes me crazy to anyone? People go, well, I lost 30 pounds on keto. Yeah. How long you been doing it? 2 months. Okay. Give me a call in 6 months, please. Because I can't stand, that's the fucking diet mindset of, I lost this much weight in this much time. If that's what you keep looking at, you're going to be on the never-ending hamster wheel. You're choosing unsustainable strategies. How can I diet without having the risk of developing ED? By choosing a goal weight that's congruent. Does fish help with weight loss? I mean, it can. I don't eat a lot of fish. I do eat fish, but here's what helps with weight loss is satisfying your micronutrient needs. Okay. If you're eating a processed diet, you're not getting your micronutrient needs met. And that's why you're fucking hungry all the time. In addition to the fact that you're consuming really addictive substances in the form of sugar and flour. I made cookies again this weekend, and it's really just struck me lately. I'm looking at this flour. I mean, this is the most powdered flour. You couldn't powder flour like that if you wanted to, by the way. You couldn't make sugar refine the way it is when you're consuming it if you wanted to. I could give you a stick of cane sugar and you ain't coming out with powdered refined sugar like you're eating. You understand? It's concentrated and refined and processed like cocaine is. Like I'm not being dramatic. Are you not addicted to like flour and sugar? Right? It's literally addictive substances. Now, I'm not saying you should never do them because I believe in I like eating sugar sometimes. I like eating flour stuff, but I'm very, very careful when I'm eating it. But if you're eating a standard American diet, a highly processed food diet, you're not getting your micronutrient needs met. And so you're hungry all the time. Just like if you don't get enough calories, your body sends you hunger signals. Okay. And so if you're not getting your micronutrient needs met, and I bet you're not, because most Americans aren't. And so you're hungry all the time. Yeah. Well, why do you think that is? And you can't nourish yourself because you hate the taste of regular food. That's the problem. You've been conditioned to like hyper palatable food, and you're addicted to flour and sugar, which comes in hyper palatable forms. So that when you eat a fruit, a vegetable, greens, beans, it tastes like shit. It's boring. You don't want to eat it. That's part of the problem. How can I diet without the risk of developing an ED? I just want to talk about that real quick. Again, I think that the point is to come out with a goal weight that's really congruent. You can't just pick a goal weight. That's what the biggest mistake people make is they just pick a goal weight and they don't take into account how they're going to live and how they're going to eat in order to accomplish that. Now, for a person who's overweight, wants to lose weight, they usually pick a weight that's too low and they don't want to live that way. And that's a big reason why they never even get close to that. Because deep down, like, I don't want to live like that. It's a shitty quality of life. Oh, I can never eat. I got to drink water and eat carrots all day. That sucks. I don't want to do that. But they won't let go of that weight. God forbid they raise the weight up to where they actually are willing to live, right? But anyways, for people on the ED side of it, you have to look at the personal development side of it. What's the best version of you? Why the fuck are you doing this? Just so you can say I'm X amount of pounds? Because that doesn't mean shit to anyone. Unless you're like a model or like, you know what I mean? Unless your weight is directly related to your livelihood. You know what I mean? If you just think I'm going to get to X pounds, then I'm going to be happy, then everyone's going to love me. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not. Now, if you get to your goal weight and it's the weight where you're the happiest and the healthiest and the most vivacious and the most patient and the best version of yourself, yeah, then everyone's going to love that. But if you're some fucking miserable person who's really skinny, no one likes that. Just so you know. So I don't want to burst anyone's bubbles, but you know what I mean? So with the ED thing, it's like, yeah, because you're just so obsessed with this number on a scale, which doesn't mean shit. I mean, how many more people do you need to go ahead of you to let you know? Yeah, you never get to a place where you feel good about yourself. I had a coach. I certified some coaches in Program Yourself then, and one of them was a competitive bodybuilder. And I said, what was it like right before you went on? You look in the mirror. I'm like, you're right there. You're right back. She goes, I just noticed all smaller imperfections. So that's the ED path. That's anyone's path potentially, because that's a whole thing too. To master your weight, it's really two parts: action and acceptance. You got to take the right actions to get your weight where you want it to, but there's also a level of it's got to be acceptance, because we live in this bizarro world where you've had perfection put in your face your entire life. So no matter what weight you get to, there's going to be something about yourself that doesn't look like you think it should, and you're going to feel like shit about yourself, right? Comparison's the thief of joy. And I guarantee you've got to deal with this. It's called dopamine. Dopamine's the grass is greener chemical. And so we can always look at someone who looks better than us in some way and then feel like shit about ourselves. So you've got to recognize that and kind of deal with that, take it into account. What do you mean by not eating a processed diet? Can you give me an example of a healthy day? Yeah, I mean, so for me, right? So I'll start breakfast off and I'll have toast, but it's Ezekiel toast, right? So it's sprouted bread, right? It's not flour, it's sprouted grain. Okay. Natural peanut butter on that. Apple with some peanut butter. Natural peanut butter. Okay. Then at lunch, I'll have a salad. You can watch my salad video. I just put a reposted one and you can watch me. That's my salad. Nutrient density, nutrient variety. It's green mix, carrots, onions, cucumbers, garbanzo beans, sometimes hard-boiled eggs. I just eat the whites because I get cholesterol. And I don't know, peppers, tomatoes, you know what I mean? Like again, there's like 7, 8 vegetables in there. That's my lunch. Okay. And then dinner is something natural. So it might be brown rice, some chickpea dish with, chana masala. I don't know. That might be tacos. You know what I mean? But it's all whole foods. Everything's pretty close from what it looks like in nature. Then on the weekend, I eat more processed foods. But even that stuff, when I say processed food, what I'm talking about, flour, that's processed. I don't eat fat. I don't eat junk food. I don't really eat shit out of a bag typically. It's all pretty natural foods. So yeah, processed. Does it look like it grows in the ground and then you're eating it? That's natural food. If it looks like it comes in a bag and it looks like something that you can't find in nature, that's processed. So that's kind of simplistic, but um, that's a big question to be asking. How to increase my maintenance of calories over time? I'm tired of gaining weight whenever I eat 1,500 calories. Okay, well, I think that it's all about calorie density. That's the real secret to mastering your weight. Okay, so calorie density is the amount of calories within a volume of food, right? So you could have a cookie this big that's 100 calories, or you could have a salad this big that's 100 calories. And you have to understand that your satiety, right, how satisfied you feel from eating something, it's not just the calories you're eating at all. It's the volume of the food is part of it, right? Because your stomach has stretch receptors. And so when you eat that salad, it stretches your stomach more and you feel satisfied longer, okay? As opposed to the cookie, which doesn't stretch your stomach, you eat it and you still feel hungry. And then there's what it's made out of. So the cookie is made out of flour and sugar. And so it very quickly, it's absorbed into your body and it's just all absorbed and none of it stays in your intestines. That salad, it's a lot of fiber. So that stays in your intestines and it causes you to feel fuller. There's a thing called the ileal break and the colon break. So when you eat a lot of fiber, it stays in your intestines and you feel more full. You feel more satisfied. When you're eating all highly processed foods, a lot of powders, flour and sugar, it just disappears. And all of a sudden you feel hungry again, which is probably what a lot of you are all feeling, hungry all the time, which is why you can't control your diet. So yeah, calorie density though is the amount of calories in a food. So more natural foods, I'll give you the spoiler, fruits, vegetables, greens, beans have very low calorie densities pretty much, and most processed foods have a very high calorie density because high calorie foods are very addictive. When you eat a high calorie food, your brain releases lots of dopamine, which is encourages you to eat more of it, and when you eat lower calorie foods, your brain doesn't give you that signal. So again, eating a cookie compared to eating a carrot, they're two different experiences, right? Why? Because evolutionarily, getting calories was important. We lived in a food scarce environment. So when you eat calories now, your brain says, yeah, more of this, because it thinks there's not going to be calories tomorrow, you see? But you can't let that drive your eating behavior. You've got to make more strategic decisions on that. You just got my mother-in-law. Skinny and happy as my mother-in-law. Yeah, of course, right? We don't want to be skinny and happy. We want to be, so I'll give you an example. So I've been at the same weight for 30 years, except about 10 years ago, there was a blip where I put about 20, 25 pounds on. And that was a period of time where I had my son who was not a good sleeper. So I was overtired. We moved in a new house. We're totally redoing it. I was running my business. So I was exhausted. I was tired. And so, I dropped some of that weight, but what I did, because it was a difficult time of life. It was just hard. It was one of the more challenging times. You're never going to believe what I did. You're never going to believe this. I raised my goal weight. I raised my goal weight because keeping my regular goal weight was a lot harder in that situation. But again, my main goal is my quality of life, not the fucking weight. The weight in itself doesn't mean anything. You've got to get this through your head, because if you don't, you're just going to be stuck. I promise you, because it's fucking bullshit. I don't know. He swears so much, but I don't know the way to put it. It's just fucking bullshit that you're going to get to some weight and it's going to make everything perfect. If you're starving yourself to get there, there's no magic at that number, is what I'm trying to tell you. The magic's when you start living in a way where you feel amazing, where you feel good about yourself, where you feel in control, where you're not emotional eating. Because never mind emotional eating putting weight on you. The worst part of emotional eating is you're creating emotional malnourishment. And what I mean by that is that you're either using that food to feel some emotion that you want to feel, or you're using the food to not feel some shitty emotion you don't want to feel. Either way, you're fucked. Because if you're using food to relax, it's not really relaxing. It feels relaxing for that 10 minutes you're eating it. But then as soon as those 10 minutes are over, that food and the weight and the health issues it causes are causing more stress than that 10 minutes of relaxation is alleviating. Okay. And then if you're using the food to not feel negative emotions, you're not resolving those emotions. You're just distracting yourself from a little while and you're adding to it. Because then you feel like shit about yourself. You're unhappy. You're worried about your health, whatever the consequences of your weight are. Okay. So the real beauty of emotional eating, the real solution is to start dealing with your emotions genuinely. And again, I don't blame you. You're not taught to do this. And so you don't know how, but once you do, it's a game changer. That's why I say, I think you got to make this a process of personal development, and part of that is, well, how do I deal with shitty emotions? How can I feel the emotions in my life that are going to nourish me in a genuine way? And that those questions bring you on a different path, than just losing weight. Vicky says fiber and protein help hungry hugely with satiety. Yeah. Fiber and protein. And that's why, because the fiber and protein, they stick around longer in your gut, and they make you feel more full. If you're eating a lot of this is the illusion, right? Because you can eat a bagel and it's chewy, right? It feels like there's a lot to it. But in reality, it's just flour. Do you know what I mean? Like goes in your body, it just melts away. It's just flour. There's no satiety with that, And so the protein, the fiber stick around. They're real things you would eat. You have to think about the natural world. Everything was fiber and protein. Everything. You couldn't spike your blood sugar in the natural world. If I dropped you in the woods, you couldn't spike your blood sugar if I gave you $1 million to do it, short of finding a beehive, right? And getting some honey. But you couldn't have done that, And so here you are now, and you can't make it a day without spiking your blood sugar 6, 7, 8 times a day, perhaps, So it's so unnatural, but you've lost sight of this, Hey there, listen to one of your videos while I slept and chose water at lunch over a Coke. Hey, congratulations and great job. Yeah. And that's the point. You know what I mean? That's why my program is so effective, because it's not a willpower based program. It's subconscious programming. So as you start to reprogram your subconscious mind, you start to naturally make healthier choices automatically without relying on willpower. That's the secret, to getting the results you want. So, it just makes sense, makes so much sense. I get out here and I explain this to everyone, because it's not, I can't just like when it comes to weight loss, you just want a tactic. You know what I mean? You just want me to tell you like, how do I stop binging? Oh, just do this, right? Because that's what you want to hear, because that's what you're conditioned to hear with the weight loss, right? Oh, just stop eating. Oh, no, you got to do intermittent fasting. Oh, you got to do keto. You got to do carnivore. You got to do this. You got to do that. Yeah. And it's like, no, you need to think differently. You know what I mean? You need to change your whole approach to this process. Like you're 180 degrees backwards. I'm telling you, if you've been struggling to lose weight, it's 100% because you're just ass backwards with your mindset. I mean, 100%. And I do these all for free just to point that out there, And once you get it, you say, oh, shit, yeah, maybe I should invest in the program and actually learn this. Maybe I should make a commitment to actually master this area of my life. The fucking area of my life that is going to dictate how long I'm alive for. The area of my life that's going to dictate the enjoyment of my life while I'm alive, And it's like, again, you got to understand, when you have 70, 75% of the population's overweight or obese, you have to understand the cultural engineering that has to go into making that possible. Okay. And I'm going to give you an example. What I mean is that a great, great reference point for all this is to look at cigarettes. Okay. Because if you look at cigarettes, I just made a video of this. If I went back 100 years in a time machine and I saw someone smoking, I say, hey, stop smoking. It's bad for you. They'd look at me like I had lobsters growing out of my ears. You know what I mean? Like they'd be like, what are you talking about? Because no one thought a cigarette as being unhealthy. It was just a normal thing to do, which is crazy in one way, because if you're inhaling smoke into your lungs multiple times a day, you would think the effects would be obvious. But it just proves you how powerful our brains are. We can literally delete the effects of cigarettes in our lungs. And this is what's happening to you with the food right now, is you're minimizing and deleting how negative the effects of this food and this lifestyle are on your life, on your day-to-day reality, your mindset, mentally. How do you think about yourself? Well, if you've been trying to lose weight for 20, 30, 40 years, right? How is that affecting your mindset? Do you feel like a failure when it comes to your weight? Do you feel less than? Right? What's your self-image? Do you feel like you can take action and take control of this? Are you worried about your health? Are you worried about your lifespan? Are you worried about sicknesses? And you're just living with that. And then there's the emotions that come with that. Feeling like a failure, feeling frustrated, feeling angry, feeling scared, feeling worried. This is the day-to-day reality you've just gotten accustomed to living with. Why? Because you have no idea how to change your weight. And it's because you have no idea how to change your mindset. So the first step is always getting in touch with the pain. I'll tell you right now, by the way, I would strongly suggest that you go to my bio, click that link, and get sign up for that hypnosis session, because in a little over a half hour, I'm going to do a live webinar. All right. And if you're there, I'm going to send out a link right before I do it. But we're going to go through this. One of the things we're going to do in this training is the upward downward spiral. And this is something I use with a lot of my clients. Because listen, I have people sometimes that have type 2 diabetes. So, I mean, you fucking got it. And they still aren't motivated to eat well. Do you know what I mean? So it's not enough to just know something. We have to feel it. We have to internalize it. And no one's doing that to you. Because there's too much money being made off you being overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy. Way too much money. They get you coming and going. They get you eating all. They get you coming. The food companies get you to eat their shit, right? The diet companies, which are just the food companies, as we just went over, they're getting you when you try and selling you bullshit, snake oil, and then the medical establishment ultimately gets you because then you have to get your insulin or you try your Ozempic or whatever bullshit you're going to try to lose weight, surgeries, whatever you're going to do. So there's so much money being made off of people that are overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy. That for you to get this message, even when's the last time you even heard someone talking like I'm talking? I'm not talking anything crazy either, right? Like I'm not giving you like the newest neuroscientific research. I'm just saying common sense shit that you never think about. You never think about it, and it's because there's so much money to be made keeping you in this fog, and your literal life depending on it. And you don't feel that way about it. You want to lose weight so you can wear a bathing suit to the beach this summer. You know what I mean? That's that diet thing. They want to motivate you enough to just get their product, but not motivate you enough to actually change. But that'll be different when you do the upward and downward spiral that we're going to go through, because you internalize it. You realize what's at stake here. You've created a system of avoiding and minimizing the damage that's going on. And that's one of the primary things that's keeping you stuck overweight. You're not seeing it for what it is. You'll say, well, how much is your program? It's $2,000. Oh, $2,000 to lose weight? It's not to lose weight. It's to become the person you want to be. By the way, if you log in there and watch the training that follows, you can actually get the program for half price. But yeah, because you got to commit. You know what I mean? Like your approach. I always say this. I just the college metaphor, right? If you went to college, how important was it that you committed to it? Because it was probably pretty hard. No, right? And then think about how your commitment to weight loss is. It's like, I don't know, you ever do Coursera, right? Where it's like free courses from Harvard and all the great schools, right? You take them all for free. Yeah, good luck. Because if you're like me, you do that, and then until it gets fucking hard and boring, you're like, oh, that's enough, right? But that wasn't how college was. College was hard as hell. And I was like, oh my God. but I've invested a lot of money and time and effort into this. I want to do it. I want to finish it. And I got a support system and all the rest of it. And then you think about how you're trying to lose weight. What, Monday? What's going to happen? What, Monday? Monday, some magic Monday, magic Monday you're waiting for, right? Year after year of magic Mondays, because you never make a commitment to it. And if you do make a commitment, this is the worst part to me too. Again, I love personal trainers, nutritionists. They have their place, but it's like, listen, a personal trainer is just like external willpower. You know what I mean? You're just paying someone to keep, whip you. You know what I mean? You're not making the changes inside, You got to commit to think, act, and respond differently, to think, act, and respond like a naturally thin person, and tailor it to your own experience, Yeah, there's Tracy. It's worth every penny. Yeah, Tracy just joined. And Tracy is she's awesome because, yeah, again, there's so much. You could be at this for so long and you think you know everything. I always say this. I'll give you an example. If you close one eye, look at your nose, you see it. Close the other eye, look at your nose, you see it. Open both eyes, your brain deletes your nose from your awareness. Still there, but your brain's like, oh, I gotta look at your nose. We know it's there. There's no value in looking all the time. So there are a lot of challenges and solutions that are right in front of you that you're just not seeing. I promise you. You think you're aware, you think you know what you got to do, and you just got to get yourself to do it. But you don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different way of learning. And like thinking you're going to lose weight is almost like thinking you're going to learn a language by yourself, or you're going to learn the piano by yourself. And now when I say by yourself, I mean like without even any books or courses. It's like you're just sit at the piano and just hammer it out yourself. You ain't. And that's what you're trying to do with your weight loss. You're trying to just like, I'm just going to do it. I know what I got to do. I just got to do it. I'm just going to force myself to do it for the fucking 100th time. The 100th time that I'm going to, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the same thing that hasn't worked a fucking 100 times. I'm going to do it. But tomorrow's going to be different because tomorrow it's going to be different. I don't know why anyone thinks that, but because I know why, because you're in a trance and in the diets, you get this nonstop diet diets marketing, and you can't even separate weight loss from dieting at this point. Again, let me just say something to you. And how come you haven't thought of this already, right? But stop thinking you want to lose weight, because which is more accurate for your goal? Do you want to lose weight? Do you just want to lose the weight? Or do you want to get to your goal weight and live the rest of your life at your goal weight on near autopilot? Well, I know the answer to that, but you never articulate it that way. You know what I mean? So I can't even tell you, you're in a mental prison that you can't see from the diets, Yeah. Tracy, I've learned so much in just 2 weeks. And it's true, because sometimes people get in the program and they go, I'm doing everything right and I'm not losing weight. So I don't even know where to start. And then a week later they go, you know what? Actually, it turns out that I tend to snack at night. A lot of nights I'm snacking between 8 and 10. And yeah, it's like you're not aware of what you're even doing, most likely. And you certainly are not being strategic, because deep down it's that no pain, no gain, right? Where you want the diet to be as fucking hard as it can be, because you associate the harder it is, the more difficult it is, the faster your results are going to be. So you're upside backwards down. I don't know what to tell you. How much did you lose? 50 pounds. But more importantly than losing 50 pounds, I've kept that weight off for 30 years on near autopilot. No diets. I don't even work out. I do yoga, but I don't do any active working out. I'm working on that now for other reasons. It's purely controlling what I'm eating, and I do that through mindset. Again, there's 3 pillars to success. I make a pyramid shape. Mindset's on the bottom, the foundation, lifestyle, eating on top. Okay. And most people just focus on the eating. And even the eating one, in my program, eating, you're making your own eating blueprint. Every other diet, here's the plan. Oh yeah, this person's never met you and that doesn't know you, they're just going to tell you how to eat forever. Right? That's like someone saying, wear this type of clothes, watch this type of movies, listen to this type of music. I mean, you're just going to let someone tell you how to eat forever. I mean, it's asinine. Just want to make that point. Yeah, Tracy, you have learned a lot in 2 weeks. You've really done it. How do I join and how much does it cost? Okay. I'm going to tell you guys something. It's $2,000 if you order it through my website, Program Yourself Thin. But I'm going to tell you a little hack here to get you 50% off. Is if you go to that link in my bio and you go watch that training, you get a link for a hypnosis session. I'll give you a hypnosis session. And then it takes a few minutes to get it ready and send it to you. But you're going to be brought to a page that has 3 steps to master your weight. It's about a half hour. First of all, you should watch that training if you're at all serious about mastering your weight. And then at the end of that, I talk about my program, and there's a special offer. If you've never seen it, it's a one-time offer I make, because again, I'm looking to motivate you to take some action. Okay. And you can get it for half off. Vicky says, absolutely worth it. Now looking for next stage after the initial program. Vicky, I was thinking about you last night. I woke up at 2 a.m. I was like, shit, I forgot to send Vicky the information. I will send that to you. Let me write this down in big letters. I write your name, and that almost guarantees that I'm going to send it as soon as this is over. Yeah, it's worth it. Again, I mean, that's what I mean. There's so much conditioning. We don't, the conditioning, we can't see our own conditioning. You know what I mean? But one of the things, I mean, how do you get a population to be 75% overweight? How did you get most of the population to smoke at one point? And then we had a huge reduction in it. Think about this. Again, the cigarettes is such a valuable thing to look at. Okay. Because it preceded, we're in the same thing with the food right now, but we can't see it because we're in it. But again, with the smoking, everyone was smoking. There was vending machines everywhere. There was nonstop cigarette ads. They were in all the movies. It was just ubiquitous. It was everywhere. There was ads with doctors, the healthiest cigarettes. So we just assumed cigarettes weren't that bad. And so we lived in that fog, and it minimized the damage the cigarettes were doing to it. And so how do we get to a place where so many people stop smoking? Through education, right? We changed the way we thought about cigarettes. You learn that they cause lung cancer. All of those PSAs about cigarettes change the way you think about them. And now, again, that just gets to the mindset piece too, because if you're a non-smoker already, it's not because you're fighting cravings all the time. It's because the way you think about cigarettes, you don't have any cravings. So again, when it comes to your weight, what you're doing is you're creating all these cravings and thinking you're going to fight against them. Every diet, right? Your subconscious mind doesn't understand negatives. If I tell you not to think about a banana, don't think about a banana. What are you thinking about? A banana. What's a diet? Don't think about carbs. Don't think about cookies. Don't think about ice cream. Don't think about sweets. Don't think about fattening foods. All you're thinking about is those foods. You know what I mean? It's subconsciously orienting you towards all of them. So it creates the deprivation and cranks up the cravings for them. You know? Yeah, it's a lot of self-awareness and self-accountability. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all about self-awareness. Awareness really precedes all real genuine change, you know? And you think you know what you got to do and you don't. It's really about becoming aware of what's going on, you know? And I just shared that story about someone who joined the program recently. Again, a very smart, intelligent, successful woman, okay? And gets on and says, I'm doing everything right and I don't want to lose weight's losing. And a week later, after thinking about it and reflecting and changing up the mindset just a hair, realizes, oh, I have an 8 to 10 snacking habit that was there the whole time, but just wasn't seen. I know you think that's a dramatic example. It's just literally just happened the last couple weeks, you know? So how are you going to fix the problem if you can't see it? Yeah. And that's what I say. So my program as well, a huge component of it is working with me. You know what I mean? Every Tuesday and Thursday we have live calls, where I'm actually helping you. So it's it's really important because you've never worked with anyone like this, you know? It really is a unique zone. I don't know, like, again, I don't know. Therapists, obviously there's got to be some therapists that help people lose weight. But I don't know. You got to kind of figure it out yourself because I have, you look, okay, I'm going to study this stuff. I've had to create this all myself. That's why I read 50 books a year. I've done over 5,000 private weight loss sessions, because I had to figure this out myself. You know what I mean? Like there's really no one out there who's the mindset master of weight loss. Who would you even, if you've realized, you know what, the way I'm thinking is kind of messing me up with my weight. I got to change how I'm thinking about weight loss. Who are you studying? Who are you looking? Who are you watching? Right? I don't know, So that's not enough anyways, I think the hypnosis is a big part of the whole thing as well. But all right, I gotta get out of here. I get prepared. But if you all, like I said, go click that bio link and get that session. I mean, it's a free hypnosis session. It's custom made session. Get it. And then there's a training there after it. And then if you get in there, like I said, within the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to do a live webinar. And it's free. It's a free webinar, but I only do it for people on my email list. You got to take some action. Jesus. So hopefully I'll see you on that. Right. Oh yeah. I'll send you that. I'm going to send you that. I'm just gonna send you a live link. You just pop it in at, yeah, it's free. It's free. Oh, you didn't see the free session? I clicked it, but didn't see that. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow, Vicky. And I'll get you that info tonight. Yeah, but go. Thanks, Baby Moose. I appreciate that. Yeah, the free session should be there. If it's not there, email me at jim@programyourself.then. But that should be no problem. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Tracy. Yeah, so click that link though. It should bring you to the free session. Opt in for that. You'll be brought to a training, 3 steps to master your weight. But then keep an eye on your email inbox. I'm gonna send you a link within the next 20 minutes or so, which I'll have a link to a webinar I'm about to do at 4:00 Eastern. All right. We'll be doing some hypnosis and weight loss. All right. Cool. All right, everyone. Have a good day. We'll talk soon. Bye.